So you've picked up all the logs and branches from your lawn, separated them, stacked them, and stored them. Now, with the colder weather on its way, it's time to start taking those seasoned logs and make them fireplace ready. What are the best tools you'll need for that project? Coming your way next, right here. Hey, hello, good day. Welcome back to the Suburban Axeman. We're going to help you keep the home fires burning, even if you live in the suburbs. Well, we previously covered the stuff you'll need to reclaim the wood that's fallen on your property. Then we talked about how to move it from where you found it to where you're going to stack it, season it, or process it. By processing, of course, we mean splitting. Now it's time to look at the tools you'll actually be using to do that splitting. Basically, there are only two types of splitting that exist: machine splitting and hand splitting. In this episode, we're going to talk about hand splitting and the two most commonly used tools to bring about that hand splitting, namely a maul or a mallet spike combination. The mallet and the spike, of course, work together. It's actually one method using two tools. But if you only had one tool to do your splitting, you'd probably be best served with the maul. Also known as a splitting maul, blockbuster, block splitter, chop, sledge, axe, sledge axe, go devil, or ham axe. But most commonly, it's just called a maul. Plain and simply, it is a heavy, long-handled axe. It's used for splitting instead of chopping. It does have a haft or a handle. It can be made of wood, composite, such as this, or even metal. It's got a metal head, which is called the bit. It's a lot heavier than your axe, and it's got a much blunter edge. Usually it also has a striking surface on the backside. Also, unlike the axe, it is not essential that your splitting maul have a razor-sharp edge. In fact, in most cases, a less than razor-sharp edge is going to be more efficient, in that it will send a more powerful shock through the core of the wood, splitting the fibers lengthwise. As opposed to an axe, which simply forces the axe head deeper into your log, which often just embeds itself into the log, making it harder to remove. A lot of people choose a double-sided axe. The original advantage here is that you could use one side for chopping and the other side for splitting. Or if one of the sides got chipped or damaged, you would have a reserve axe. But this was only a really big advantage back when it was important to be carrying as few tools as possible. Perhaps in a Conestoga wagon or a Frontier homestead barn. In addition to being extremely expensive, I didn't find them to be any more effective than your standard maul. They're generally lighter in weight. This one's 3.5 pounds. And if they're left in a chopping block, the open end can be slightly dangerous. While we're talking about weight, the general rule is the heavier the better. Most mauls are 6 to 8 pounds. This is an 8-pound model, with a 10-pound version being fairly easy to find. This monster is a 12-pound version. It's very effective, but don't forget, as with all mauls, you have to lift it up over your head, bring it down, and strike on the wood. Doing the math, 12-pound maul will tire you out twice as fast as a 6-pound maul, and about 33% faster than an 8-pound maul. Of course, your results may vary. The other most commonly used hand splitting technique is the combination method hammer and spike. It incorporates a pair of tools, namely cast iron spike, which can be wedge shaped or diamond shaped, and of course a hammer, which can be a sledgehammer or, as we mentioned before, the obverse side of a splitting maul. I find it very advantageous to have more than one spike if you're going to be splitting very large diameter logs. Sometimes if you place them too close to the center, you might have a very hard time to get them out if they don't completely split the log. And that's especially true if the log is freshly cut or not fully seasoned. If you hit it in too deep, you're never going to get it out unless you have a second spike or a splitting maul. Also, watch out for overstrike. That is to say, missing the target. It happens all the time. You can get a protective collar for the handle, or buy a maul that already has one. This is a wooden handle you don't want to be swinging the mallet of. In closing, hand splitting should not give you a splitting headache. It is repetitive and strenuous, and you may get blisters and sore shoulders and a tired back when you first get started, but it is an amazingly good workout. And if you have the right tools and you use them correctly, then you will be incredibly more efficient and will have gotten some incredibly good aerobic activity, along with having created a lot of split wood for stacking or to keep warm in the cold winter months. So there you have it, the maul or splitting axe, sledgehammer, and spike combination, the three most common tools for the two types of hand splitting that you'll be doing. There are plenty of other tools available, and we will be talking about some of them on future episodes of the Suburban Axeman. But if you buy or acquire no other tools, these are the most readily available, common, and valuable tools that you're going to want to put in your Suburban Axeman toolkit. Now that you're on with these most basic tools, next we'll talk about the techniques for using them safely and efficiently. For now, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Suburban Axeman, helping you keep the home fires burning. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Keep an eye out for us on the suburbanaxeman.com and right here, of course, on this YouTube channel. So we'll see you there. Till then, I'm Scythe DeVoe. Be well and communicate. Right now, I got a split.